Welcome back to another tropical outlook and discussion. For today, we're going to be taking a look at now Invest 97L, as major changes to the forecast has really erupted in the last 24 hours. We are seeing a significant strengthening trend with today's model runs, and this is a very significant changing as we have now very deep thunderstorm convection around the center of low pressure. We are really seeing some of those thunderstorms take place, definitely to the eastern side of the forecast. You can definitely tell here on the satellite imagery of what's really going on. If we take a look at true color imagery here, just give this one little second. You can easily see we have been dealing with a lot of thunderstorm convection on the eastern side of this tropical wave. This is definitely becoming a bit of a worrying sign here. So if we take a look all the way out there, yeah, you can see what's going on is we are getting a low-level center developing pretty close into this thunderstorm convection. Probably not exactly where this is supposed to be, but it's a little bit, I would say a low-level center is probably around this part, or maybe even a bit further to the south here. And yes, there is some uncertainty on what's going to happen, but I would say honestly a low pressure is probably in this area, and we are definitely been seeing some of those big time banding features trying to develop on the southwestern side of the system. We're even seeing some of the absolutely amazing outflow here. Definitely some banding features here, but all it takes is pretty much one convection band. I do honestly think this is going to be tropical storm Helene tomorrow. I think this has really shown the possibilities and the chances for that. So that's a little satellite imagery there. I do not know why that's like that. But if we take a look at the shear map, this is a very significant update on the shear map. Is, yeah, we really don't have any more shear. We have more of a cyclonic flow. So this is now breathing very well. And even in the Gulf of Mexico, yeah, look at this where I'm circling at in this black area. This is absolutely no shear. There is very favorable conditions in the Gulf of Mexico where the system is supposed to go. And look at this. We have where this new low is developing right here. We got a cyclonic flow, absolutely beautiful on this southern side here. I mean, absolutely beautiful on all quadrants, breathing extremely well. So this is definitely in the process of becoming PTC or even tropical storm Helene in the next 12 hours, 6 to 12 hours. This has really erupted as major breaking news where we could be seeing a much stronger system. So now we take a look at the National Hurricane Center, and clearly they have upped it again. 80% in the next 7 days, 50% in the next 48 hours. I wouldn't be surprised by the 2 a.m. update. This is about 90 and 70 or even higher than that. Just all depends. But they do say disorganized showers and thunderstorms located over the northwestern Caribbean Sea and portions of Central America with associated of a broad low pressure environment. Conditions appear conducive for development of the disturbance, and a tropical depression or storm is likely to form in the next few days. In the Caribbean, regardless of development, once again, heavy rain and a lot of wind with this, but I do think this is definitely going to be a major, absolutely major problem down the road. And then we have another area out there. I'm not really going to discuss this, maybe in future videos. This is now at 60% in the next 7 days, and it looks like this one is definitely could be the I-named storm here, and definitely could be a developing system too. So now let's take a look at some of the things here. We take a look at ocean heat content. Once again, extremely well ocean heat content. where this is developing. This is actually developing a little bit more in this area. So what does that mean for the area of the tropics and for the system is that this is going to be going over the best OHC, and I wouldn't be surprised from rapid intensification, and this could even go right in the loop current and then make landfall somewhere in this path. This could be actually going over the best ocean heat content of the entire North Atlantic. So this has the possibility to do. This has a very high ceiling. This has a high ceiling of a Category 5. Now I'm going to put it straight out there. The conditions could be favorable or even better than Hurricane Beryl back in June. And I wouldn't be surprised. This could be, this is a little far-fetched, but could this be, a lot of looks on this is, could this be a repeat of 2018 Hurricane Michael? And yes, I had to put it out there. Everyone's been talking about it with the models really showing a Hurricane Michael repeat, and that will be absolutely catastrophic on all levels if that does happen. But there it is, 1,006 millibars, about 25, 30 miles an hour. And these are the track guidance. And yeah, right now pretty consistent. I wouldn't be surprised this does get shift a bit more over here, and we kind of see a bit more of a shift like this, and we kind of see a big bend tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised about that, but this does make landfall in the next 4 days. So it's 4 days from pretty much now to get its act together, and this might be a little bit further south and west than what we previously thought too. We take a look at the forecast models of the intensity, and yes, this is easily right now could be once again Cat 1, Cat 2, or even a Category 3, and there's some models going Cat 4, even Category 5. So for this being like the second run of the Invest 97L, this is a very concerning, significant change. Another thing that's actually helping this too is probably the MJO, and we're gonna actually take a little look at that too. Another thing, once again, we got the waters, the very well wind shear, we got the moisture profile to it. I mean, this has a lot of things going for it than the previous expected. And yes, 2 days ago we were talking about, yeah, this doesn't look like it's gonna be that big of a system, and yeah, a day later we are looking at a potential major issue with the models, and I don't know what's going on here. Let's just retry this again. Okay, good. So we are seeing definitely the track guidance here, and this is once again very interesting. Some of these have it developing just a little bit more west. Either way, it goes through the Yucatan, and yes, we do see many models, and this is actually 18Z. So many models into that Cat 3, Cat 4, especially going into the peninsula of Florida. That is most likely in the next 4 days. We look at the European ensembles here. This is actually 18Z, and yeah, a lot stronger than 12Z, and actually no, this is, yeah, this is 18Z as a Sunday. Yeah, a lot stronger of the runs since 12Z. This is a very, very concerning trend, because even the 18Z Euro has trended, and a bit more east too on the ensembles. So that's another very big thing you tell. Maybe developing a little bit more that way, and then going right to the Yucatan. I wouldn't even be surprised. This is a hurricane over here. I honestly wouldn't be surprised. This is really this has trended for the worst case scenario as of right now. This is the worst case scenario. So let's take a look at some of the models, and we're actually going to take a look at the Euro, because the Euro has trended in the 18Z from the 12Z to a much stronger system. This is the 18Z, and we have a 990 now hurricane. You have to remember this. Some of the ensembles and stuff doesn't have a hurricane by this time, but we see a hurricane entering the Gulf of Mexico. This is a very concerning thing, as we have a 990 millibar storm entering the Gulf of Mexico with a very, very unique presence. Alright? Very unique presence. And if we looked at the last run at this exact time, this was a 997, 995. So a 5 millibar drop is very significant. And this actually became a 981. So this could definitely be in the 970s, even into the major hurricane status if the 18Z continue to go out. So that's a very significant worrying right there. We take a look at the GFS, and this has been a very concerning too. The last two runs into Cat 4 and pretty much 2 runs now consecutively into Category 4 develops this very quickly. And this, once again, in the next 24 hours could be a tropical storm. And yeah, you could clearly see this will become a potential Cat 1 strong hurricane for the Yucatan and Cuba. And this goes right through there. And look at this this strengthening. I mean, this strengthens so fast into 971, 963. I mean, once it enters this, I mean, it goes from a 963 to a 950. You guys, that's a 13 millibar drop in 6 hours. This could really have some rapid intensification because this is once again going through the best ocean heat content and the absolutely best water temps in very good conditions. This could be a very easily repeat of Hurricane Beryl, Hurricane Michael, and clearly we go from 950 to 945, and then makes landfall around. At this point, they already made landfall. This is 942, so this is probably getting down to potentially the 930s. If this went in 1 hour, this could definitely go into 930s. But one thing I'm gonna say is how big this storm is. This is going to be a very large Category 3, Cat 4, Cat 5 hurricane. This is not just going to be, this could be a lot bigger than Hurricane Michael. And I'm sorry to break this to you guys, but we are going to actually take a look at satellite imagery. And yeah, that is what you call a monster hurricane. That right there is an absolutely perfect eye and the absolutely perfect Category 4, Category 5 hurricane barreling down onto Florida. And this is even before landfall. This is a very concerning look on the latest GFS model. Alright. Both of the GFS runs have been absolutely catastrophic. And I'm sorry to break this to you guys, but the HUR is a lot worse than what you guys think, okay? The HUR model has this once again developing in the next 24, 40 hours. This becomes a rather strong Cat 2 hurricane, maybe even a Category 3. And look at this weird thing I've been noticing too. This is a little bit far out, but we go from a 968 in 3 hours to a 950 in 3 hours. Yeah. That's almost a 20 millibar drop, and then a 950 to a 948, 945, 934, 930. At this point, it's a Category 5. And then we drop to a 926 millibar storm, and it withstands that 930 millibar all the way up to landfall into the Big Bend of Florida. Yes, this could be a catastrophic, major hurricane. This could really go even worse. The trends have continued to progressively make this closer and closer to the doomsday storm for Florida, and that's the Cat 5 devastating storm. You know, this is another model, a little bit weaker, but still gets this down to a 942, and this actually goes just north of Tampa as a Cat 4 hurricane. Alright, this will be absolutely catastrophic, and then it actually goes out in the waters and then rides that. I think that is another possibility too on the model. I mean, these are all showing absolutely catastrophic storm here. This is a 952. This is a likely Cat 4 hurricane going into the peninsula of Florida. We look at the HAFS B version. This is a Cat 3, Cat 4 hurricane, probably more like a Category 3. So yes, this is that worst case scenario looking likely. Alright. And we're just going to look at the 10 millibar winds. Yes, this might be a little underdoing it. I wouldn't be surprised, but yeah, you can definitely see here very, very, very strong. And we look at this, I mean, this is just mind-blowing. Yeah, easily into Cat 5 status here. And look how big the damn wind field is. I'm sorry for saying damn, but this wind field is absolutely large. I mean, huge amount of major hurricane force winds. This will be an absolutely all-out hurricane if this does happen. Very, very, very large impacts. So now let's take a look at another model, and this is the European. Has even a stronger system than the previous run, into about the Big Bend of Florida on the APHIS. Alright, Icon. The 18Z has trended, I think, stronger too. And 984 on the latest, but a little bit faster too. So yes, the concerning trends continue if we take a look at the NAM. And honestly, I thought the NAM was overdoing it in the first few runs, but NAM actually so far looks like it is on point. And the NAM model has a very interesting look at this. I mean, look, this is another thing too. We're starting to notice that eastern trend. So maybe in the 0Zs we're going to notice that eastern trend, and we're going to have to see if it's stronger. But look at this. This just bombs out into a Cat 2 hurricane hitting Cuba, and then this just rapidly intensifies once it gets in the Gulf. And that's a very major concerning thing. So now let's take a look at the NJO, because I was really wanting to talk about this with you guys. And let's just take a look at that. And yeah, look at that. The MJO going into the next coming days, this is where it is, I think, right now. Look at the MJO. This goes very far out into phases 1 and 8. And this goes actually very far out. And this actually stays potentially in the vicinity of the model. I mean, look at that. That's a lot of convection. That means this storm is going to be in very, very favorable conditions. And there's actually another map we can use quickly. I know I'm taking quite a while on this update, but I know I wouldn't be able to update until later tomorrow. And yeah, good MJO forecast. And yes, this is once again a very major trend with the latest model.